this technology that I'll cover this morning, the point I bring it up is because for me, as someone who started in my own business in 1988 and started as a journalist in 1980, you know, I started as a journalist and we had to have our hand here as it hit the typewriter to get through the 3 carbon copies. You know, this world has changed, and the change brings about interesting observations of human behaviour. And what I've learned over all those years is human behaviour is quite consistent, but it handles the channel differently. This is the sort of thing that makes us laugh.
In the mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon, which is exactly what we in John West want. John West endure the worst to bring you the best.
Don't you love the line, "Oh look, an eagle"? That's the best line in the whole thing. If you haven't seen that, that's online. There's an epidemic of viral emails. I mean, that's not new, that one, but the beauty about that is, as a brand, John West have done a terrific job over the last 10 years to understand that, you know, they could get serious about how they manufacture their salmon and tuna and everything else, and their plants and their policies and why it's great, or they can just make us feel the best about John West that we possibly can, because you know what, buying tuna and salmon doesn't change our lives, but we might just have a smile when we go past it in a supermarket aisle. Sometimes you don't have to try that hard. Sometimes you can just say, we've got a character, we've got a personality, this brand of ours, this business of ours. And let me just deal with the word brand before we go any further, because some of you may be here thinking, branding, I don't know if we're a brand, we're a bit small to be a brand. You're not. You're a brand already. Individually, we work harder on our own brand than we work on anything else. Branding is merely a way of other people being able to remember and recall and enjoy what you are, what your business is, because they understand there is a kind of an emotional side to it that creates an emotional loyalty. If you're not a brand, you're a commodity. And a commodity is traded on price and opportunity. So you've got distribution, price, and that's about, and you know what, we can all match that. A brand gives you something else. A brand gives something, and I'll discuss that when I come to the 3 Bs of B branding. So everybody in this room should be trying to be a brand. Absolutely. And John West have shown us that you can do it through character. But the viral epidemic shows us that you can actually do it in so many different ways now, but be careful to not take the wrong cues. So let me summarise this first, who are we really? This new age we've got to, making sense of us in the new age, is the hard bit. And the idea of how do we best engage is the thing I'm obsessed by. I look at audiences every day and I see how they engage and I see how they don't engage. You know, if I gave you statistics and figures and facts, you'd be busily writing away. I guarantee you, because you think that's important. And you'd be going, yeah, I think I got it. Is there a handout? I think I got it. And you'd walk away with lots of data and lots of information, and you'd feel lots of knowledge, and you'd be able to go back and sprout it out and sort of say, look what I know. But would you actually be engaged? And I don't think you would. I think you'd be informed. So does a brand inform or does it engage? Does a business inform or engage? Inform is easy to do. Knowledge is knowledge, it's not wisdom. So what I'm going to push you to do this morning is really understand the difference between being a brand that just informs of what your offer is versus a brand that actually engages a customer in what you stand for emotionally. And as I said earlier, you know, 21 million people or more can't be wrong about that hugs thing. It's just right. I'm going to give you another case study now, and it's this one here. Have a look at this.
I just don't want to see anyone. Sam.
So how do you best engage? You know, I come back to this notion at the very start. It's always been storytelling. You know, find a story. It can be a quick story, it can be a long story, but find a way of getting across something about your business that actually taps into the emotive drivers of that category. In this category here, Air New Zealand have tried a few things over the years. Some have worked and some haven't. I actually like this approach because it reminds me that, you know, if something really happens with my mother or my father and they're overseas or just I need to be somewhere, the efficiency of a great airline is the answer to getting there. And it says you just do it, and it taps into something. And I think they understand what their story of what they're trying to be. They're trying to be the connector. They're really trying to exist to unite people. That's what they're saying. Now, there becomes a different issue on every brand about whether you live up to it, whether your systems allow you to do that. You know, talk about great advertising and branding puts a bad business out of business twice as fast. So be very careful that you get your systems aligned. So please don't go away from today thinking systems and regulation aren't important. They are after the fact, after you set your brand proposition and align it to what you can deliver. Now, I don't know about you, and I haven't travelled on Air New Zealand enough, probably only half a dozen times in the last year, to know consistently whether they're going to make this, whether they can be the reliable way to use it. The holy grail is when someone like this buys not one, but 2 iPhones at about $450 each, doesn't need them in the first place. It's not a great phone. It's a great device. It's a great piece of branding. But this guy, have a look at his face. I didn't make that up. That's shot in the store. That's a brand, because what they've done is from their belief and from the sense of belonging, they've created this incredible thing called irrational behaviour towards your brand. And the next thing you bring out, you just effortlessly go to it. You just say yes. I love it. It's me. It's part of my life. I'll have the next one. In fact, I'll put my name on the waiting list. And then what we did was we aligned ourselves to the Commonwealth Games effort. And we tried to get across this fear that we won't get in the way will actually help you get where you want to go. So the antidote to getting in the way, to the fear that we uncovered, was we'll help you get where you want to go. But in perspective, we're not going to change your life. We're not going to give you a religion. We're not going to give you meaning to your life. We're just not going to get in the way. And we're just going to be a little bit handy when it comes to getting where you want to go. So we found this ballet dancer. And this ballet dancer we put with the guy on a previous slide, this big bloke here called Scott Martin. And Scott Martin was a 6'7" discus thrower. And the ballet dancer was about 4 foot nothing. And we put them together and we asked them to train together. And the idea was that she would have a word in his ear about how to pirouette differently, how to move more gracefully, and how to perhaps go from number 10, as he was ranked at the time, to have a medal chance. And we ran an ad, and this was way out from the Commonwealth Games, and the ad was this ad here, and I'll play it to you.
Sometimes, to get what you want, you need some words of experience, which is where we come in. So what is it you want?
So we turned the fear into this idea of helping people fulfil their aspirations. We changed the name of the bank from the National Australia Bank to the NAB, and we made it friendlier, and we put it through training and methodology, and we ran it through the tellers. And we came up with this story, this idea that perhaps Scott Martin could be helped by this ballet dancer, but that's our role. Win, lose or draw, at least we're there helping. Well, sometimes you get a bit of luck, and sometimes life imitates art. And in this case, no one could believe what they saw, because the ballet dancer actually stayed on training with Scott Martin for about 12 weeks, trained him all the way to the Commonwealth Games, and that ad came to life 100% when he won gold medal in discus, which was never meant to win. And the day he won gold medal in discus on the Commonwealth Games, the whole stand and all the media were calling him the guy from the bank and calling him the ballet guy. And it was an incredible sort of crossover, because the bank put a belief there. The belief was that we understand our place in your life, helping fulfil your aspirations, because we also understand you're scared that we get in the way a lot. So that was it's a case study that actually worked in Australia, and it worked really, really well.